Hello friends, welcome to BISP Solutions. Myself Ashwin and I work as a technical consultant in BISP Solutions. BISP Solutions is a tech company and provide technological solutions across the world. So now this is our fourth webinar. Just give me a second. Okay, so this is our fourth webinar in the webinar series of how to migrate the data from QuickBooks to Fusion. Okay, so now let's start. First of all, let's have a recap first. In our yesterday's webinar, I have explained you that how the data is transformed with the help of Python, right? Python script. Now there is one more method. Let me show you which method is that. See, there are two ways. If you are having a Python developer, then you can get it done by Python scripting, right? Another method is macro scripting. Now macro scripting means it's an inbuilt facility in Excel. If you are good in writing the macro script, in that case you can write down the macro script, and with the help of macro script you can get the work done same whatever you want, right? So in our previous three webinars we have learned that how did first of all we will do the analysis part. We will start that part also in few minutes. First let's have a quick recap. First of all, whenever if a company, see here, company is using QuickBooks for the last few years and then now they want to switch to Fusion, right? Then this thing we have learned in our previous webinars, that what are the procedures. First of all we will see the analysis part, then we will see the information gathering part, then we will go to the designing part, implementation and data migration part. Now in this data migration, our basic main target is data migration. So in data migration there are many hurdles. First hurdle is that whenever you ask the client, so hurdle number one, issues. First is the file format, file extension. Many time if you ask the client that okay, give me the file of downloaded file of sales order file or the customer file, so either he will give you the IIS format or either he will give you the CSV format, then either he will give you XLSX, right? So there are different formats. So that is the one issue that you have to ask the client that okay, give me exactly the same format which is readable or which can be opened in the Excel format. We can work on that. Secondly, the data issue. So data issue means now either that file can be having the blank cells, either that file can be having the special characters, then unnecessary rows, unwanted unnecessary data, right? This is the another issue, data issue. Then third is mapping issue. Now see, if the mapping issue means it's a, of course it's a one-time task, right? But we have to make it totally automated. For example, from QuickBooks, the Excel sheet which is downloaded from QuickBooks, that Excel sheet might be having 10 to 15 fields information, right? But in Fusion, the Fusion consultant says that no, these are our additional headers, we need information on that. So what we will decide, okay, no problem, whatever the information captured from the QuickBook, we will keep it into the Excel sheet, but we will add some additional headers also into that output Excel sheet. So that Excel sheet will contain the data from the source system and the headers from the source system, along with new headers which will be required into the Fusion system. So in this way, one final Excel sheet will be created. In that final Excel sheet, once the final Excel sheet is created, then what we will do, we will put it into that loading area. Loading area means the staging area. This is the staging area that we will keep the data into the staging area. Staging area I have already explained you in my previous webinar, so I recommend you to watch the previous 3 webinars, right? Then whatever the Excel sheet that you have uploaded into the staging area, then that staging area, the developer or the consultant will upload that file into the Fusion part. So this is how the complete process takes place. Now it can either be done in automated system also. Once you put the file into the folder, immediately the Fusion will pick up that with the help of batch processing. That is another part, that is technical part. So just a second. Okay, now, so this was how it is done. Now then we have learned about the scripting part, how the data is, once you have mapped the data. Mapping the data means as we have learned that mapping sheet is prepared, right? So mapping sheet is prepared. Let me open that mapping sheet also, so you will be having an idea. Here you can see the vendor mapping that we have done, vendor detail mapping. Now in the yesterday's webinar I have shown you, this is the mapping part from source to QB, source QB, that is the target Fusion. So source QB target Fusion, we will migrate the data. For this migration we need a reference point. Reference point means for developer, the developer, we will tell the developer that this thing you have to replace in that new file. So we have to provide him a mapping sheet also. Mapping sheet, it's a simple sheet which shows that which name should be replaced by what name. That's it. We have to take all the headers from the target file, not from the Fusion source file, but the data should be mapped accurately. So this is how we have done, and then with the help of this customize button, we can hit this button, QB vendor. Now this vendor button can be added, as I have shown you in the developer part. We will go and see customize the ribbon, and then we will add the QB Excel here, and then we can add from here, right? So this is how this procedure done. Now when we work on Python part, so Python, as soon as we hit the button, so Python script executes, and Python script executes, so immediately it opens the command prompt, and with the help of command prompt, you can directly load that file, right? You can directly transform that data, and then final output file that I have yesterday shown you. Let me show you again for your understanding. Here is new output file. You can see here new output file is here, and this new output file containing the data from the source system and the headers from the target system. Now this file is ready to go to the Fusion part. Now what a Fusion consultant will do, Fusion consultant will make some necessary changes, because since it's not a highly automated part, it's a semi-automated. So now uploading part is done by the consultant, and then the consultant will upload the file as it is, because whatever the headers he needed, we have already added those files, right? Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, now Now yesterday we have seen the scripting. Now here comes the role of scripting. As soon as you hit this button, okay, so now the scripting part, yesterday I have shown you the Python part, right? Now Python part, since the Python is a different thing and macro is a different thing, as I have shown you in the beginning, that Python and macro scripting, Python part is a little bit different. It takes the help of pandas programming concept, and it will take the panda library, and with that panda library makes your efforts more easily. But one hurdle is there for this. Okay, now for this purpose, what we need to do, Python pandas Python, right? For this we need to ask that you have to deploy the Python on your laptop. So just one second, I think there is an issue in internet. Just give me a second. Just a second. Okay, now when you take the option of Python scripting, right? Okay, so now once you right, okay, now when you select the option of scripting through, hello, okay, okay, so when you select the option of Python, right, when you select the option to go through Python, just one second. Okay, yeah. So when you select the option to go with Python, so you have to tell the client that please install Python on your laptop. Now there is one issue. One issue is that suppose your client is in another country, right? Or the consultant is in another remote location. Now in that case, what will happen? Because the client employee, he is not that much perfect in technology, right? He is not that much perfect in technology. So what he will do, he would be unable to install Python in his laptop. So that is and because and since you have to put the path also in that Python exe file path into the macro. So instead of doing this, we prefer the macro scripting also. In macro scripting, what we will do, we will just put down a code in our macro sheet, and then we will send that macro sheet to the client email, and then that client email will just create one button. We can connect with him through video calling, and then we will just make a button here like this, and then he can be able to execute. So this is how we do. So today we will see the macro coding. Okay, so now let's move ahead. Okay, okay, now we are going to see the macro coding. But before that, I will show you the supplier macro. See here, we are moving the supplier. Let's take a scenario that we are moving the supplier. Yesterday we have moved the vendor, but now same thing. I have created the same file. Vendor and supplier both are same. So I have taken the supplier sheet. This supplier sheet that you can see on your screen is downloaded through QB. It's a QB QuickBooks. So QuickBooks, through QuickBooks we have downloaded this Excel sheet, supplier sheet. Now in this supplier sheet, what we will do, we will give the same sheet to the macro script developer. Now see, you can see here there are so many only up to Y, right? So these are the information which are needed in which are available in QuickBooks, right? And now with this data we need to import into the Fusion part. So what we will do, we will provide this data to the developer, and let me show you the code also. Now we are going to see the Excel code, macro code, right? Here comes the macro code, right? You can see here the supplier macro code. Now there is a difference, as I have told you earlier, that Python is a scripting language and it is fully developed for scripting purpose. So it contains much facilities. It supports the other libraries, external libraries, and external libraries are designed in such a way that they can accomplish your task more easily. And whereas in the macro code is a little bit different from Python. So we can't compare both the codes. Python is a different thing and macro is a different thing. So now let's see exactly how this code is written, and with the help of this code at the end we will see. Now see here, there are so many lines written in the code. Why? Because though it's fully dynamic, but somewhere there are some restrictions in macro, that because macro is given by Excel sheet, so we can't make much changes in that code. We have to write down as it is, right? So now let's see this, how it is written. First of all, just 1 minute. Okay, so let's start. So this is our macro code, and now how it works we will see. First of all, the above part that we have seen, that is the library, and it is by default written same as it is, right? So now we have taken here rdel as range and header cell as range, and all these things we have taken, and l row, that is the variable, and range z, right? So we have counted all the rows or the columns, whichever are there, right? Then we have taken the target sheet, also deleted rows in the target sheet cells. So here entire code, here all these things are for declaration, right? Declaration. Now here A to Z 100 is a range. From A1 we have to work from A1 to Z 100. That we have already defined in our range. That means how much area that you have to cover, it shows that, right? Then for each RNG in del range, right? Data range. If U case, it's a U case means uppercase. Worksheet function, substitute this and vendor, right? If it's a vendor, now let me show you parallelly also. Wherever you will see the vendor part, right? Vendor part, where it is, yeah. Then row 1 colon and range entire row, copy and target sheet. Now see here, copy and target sheet, row column A. Just a second. Offset is here. Here is vendor, and then if the loop. So we have applied a loop here from vendor because active status is not useful for us. So we have taken a loop from vendor up to end secondary contact, right? So we have taken under consideration from one column to last column. How many columns are there? Then delimiter is semicolon. We have defined the delimiter, that is a semicolon. Then join array. Now join array means just skip headers. See, whenever you have to copy the data, you have to just take the header in a different variable and data in a different variable. So whatever the headers are there, we have to first skip those, right? Then for each WS in active workbook sheet, right? Then what we will do here, we have taken, this is a by default code written in a macro, and then let's see here to the next part, that is the supplier name. Now see, range E1, J1, O1 and V1. Here these are the, for example, supplier name. Where is that supplier name? E1, okay. J1, here is J1, and then shift to location. Okay, we have taken all the headers, all the important headers here in one array, and then we will see change headers. Okay, here you see change headers. Then if I show you here, it's not here. Go to QuickBooks and then supplier. Okay, now here comes here. Just a second, here comes, okay. So now we have taken change headers, add new headers. See here, change headers, add new headers. We have taken we have to create one different Excel sheet also, right? So we have to create different Excel sheet, and then we have to pull the data, and then we have to put that data into the new Excel sheets. So similarly, target sheet cells L1, LR231. So what we have to do, because we have been told that the mapping is to be done, because whatever the sheet given, see here, this is the Excel sheet, this is the sheet, it's not log sheet, it's here, right? Now okay, so now Excel sheet is here, and here if you see the supplier sheet, where is that? One second. Supplier is here. One second. The vendor, if you go, here, see here, vendor data mapping sheet is here, and this sheet, the mapping is done based on this mapping sheet only, right? So that is why what we have done here, we have created different we have taken the headers from different cells
and kept it into different variables, because see here, variable name, variable sheet, target sheet is here. So this target sheet dot row, target sheet means whatever the target sheet that we are now going to create, that is the log sheet also. Then sheet 1 range copy destination. Now copy destination is a by default function here, in which sheet 1 supplier mapping, sheet 1 supplier mapping, sheet 1, that means if you go again here, supplier mapping, see here, sheet 1 supplier mapping, right? So sheet 1 target is here, target copy to destination, that means whatever comes under range E to E, that means complete E column will be sent into the, now where is E column, complete, here is this complete E column, right? It will be sent to that particular target sheet, right? So here is, let me open that S1 supplier sheet, S1 supplier sheet. See here, supplier name is copied into this. Similarly, supplier mapping range BF, entire column insert, that means supplier mapping from B to F, B to F is copied. Then tax organization type and all this tax organization, see here, tax organization type, then the supplier type, all these are copied. And there is a little bit hard code here, because since it's a macro, we can't make changes in their code, so we have to follow the process. And then similarly, sheet 1 is up to this, so up to this point we have copied the data into sheet 1, right? Then see here, sheet 2 supplier address mapping. Now supplier address mapping is here, sheet 2 supplier address mapping, right? Now sheet 2 supplier address mapping, same thing is here. First of all, what we have done, we have created the sheet, and then we have copied the headers from the source file, and then copy it, paste it into the target sheet. So sheet 1, sheet 2 is here, supplier address mapping, sheet 3 supplier site mapping. Here we have created supplier site mapping sheet also, right? Now this resize unbound, this is all about the headers that we are pulling, that headers from the source sheet, right? Then let's go ahead. Here is copy destination. The copy destination command means copy the data from one sheet and put the data into the another sheet. So this is how it works. Then let's see here, sheet 4 is supplier site assignment. So supplier site assignment is here, see here, supplier site assignment. And then in this supplier site assignment, what we need to do, we have to just, again the same procedure will be followed. Again the same procedure, copy destinations, supplier sheet, supplier assignment, then see here range and all these values, resize and values, okay. Then supplier mapping, okay. And in sheet 1 there is one more thing, that is a supplier mapping, and then range copy destination sheet, right? So this is how this workbook sheet 1, okay, all these sheets are working. Then we have to prepare a log file also, right? So let me show you the log file. See here, log sheet. Here we have created the log sheet. So now let's move up to this, see here. Then last row 1, that is the supplier sheet, supplier mapping is there. Now we have extracted the data in the above code, right? But we have to keep that code into the variable, and then that variable will pass all the information or all the code to the main file, right? Internal repository. So this is how the complete mechanism works. And I have already told you that this coding of macro is a little bit time taking and time consuming also. So now you can see here, supplier adding create, see here value. Now create, and then this you can see here value. Now in this value, this is a fixed value. Supplier, in supplier address mapping, if I show you, we have told her that we have told our developer that this is the hard code. It should be hard code, because in the source sheet, see here, and then batch ID, right? Okay, batch ID. Here you can see the batch ID is nothing. Okay, so batch ID is required in Fusion only, not in QuickBooks. So you can here, that is why it is defined here, right? So directly we can define the value, that is hard code, and then this is all about the coordinates, right? Cell information, right? Cell information. So now let's see here the another part, like last row 3 dot as long, right? So in the supplier sheet site mapping, right? Supplier address mapping we have done, supplier sheet supplier site mapping, and then you can see here okay, now you will see here we are working on supplier site mapping, right? So this range, the complete scenario revolves around this range and for loop. That's it. Then we have written the range here, and then formula, that is the and finally sheets, this and this, all this checked, right? So they will so here the information is brought from the QuickBooks, and then after modification we can be able to upload that Excel sheet, right? Then let's see here, target sheet, uh, added new headers. Okay, in the log file, right? In the log file, as you can see here, now the main thing. Okay, so far we have done whatever the scripting we needed, but one more thing is there. We have to put that into the folder, and suppose many times it happens that whenever we go to any company or any office, it's a practical example, most of the time things does not go as we wanted. Similarly here, we have to put the log file also. The log file means whatever you have uploaded in that upload file, how many are added new, how many records are failed. So at least we should be having the log file also. Log file, in that log file we will see all the details, correct? Now see here, you can see folder name, and so in this folder it creates a folder with the date string means each time one separate string is generated, that means unique string every second will be generated, correct? Now this is the end of if condition, and then xwev dot activate, and then immediately the message splash. Okay, so this was all about the macro scripting. Actually, I know that just watching a webinar you can't be able to write the code, but yeah, at least you should be able to practice it. I am just showing you the process, that exactly how it is done, right? So this is all about supplier. Now one more thing I would like to show you. Then one more thing I would like to show you. If you go to the customer also, the customer, customer macro. Now in this customer macro, same thing is written here. In customer macro also the same macro script is written, and then after hitting this button, customer, see here, QuickBooks customer, after hitting this button, you will be redirected to the direct output page, right? So in this way we have written this code, and it is much easier. Why? Because suppose if a code is written in macro and laptop is on the table. Now the code is written in the macro and the consultant or the developer is in remote area. In that case, it would be very difficult to ask the client to please install Python on your laptop, right? So it is better to use macro part, macro scripting. So guys, this was all about the macro technique, right? With the help of macro technique, we can get our work done in this way also. So it is just like, it's not like Python is having much flexibility, but here in the macro part you have to follow some rules, right? And then ultimately, finally, it has converted all the data into 5 different excels. The main interesting thing about this code is right. So this is how it is done. Let's have one more quick recap. First of all, what we have done, we have taken all the variables, then we have identified the how many columns that you need to work on, because until you don't have any deadline, then you can't achieve that. So we have to first identify exactly how many columns are there, how many things are to be replaced, how many things are to be captured, and then how many new things will be added. So there are 3 things here. Either you have to ignore few fields, or you have to add some additional fields. So both are okay. So this is how the macro code is written. And in our next webinar, I will show you again the exact complete process, how it works, and I will show you the what issues comes when we work on. And now in our next webinar, I will show you that how data is transformed. Once the data is transformed, then how it will be uploaded into the Fusion. How it will be uploaded means once we change the data, then it's not like that you just select the file from the upload after hitting the upload button, and then select the file and then just hit the upload button. It's not that that easy. I will show you that how it is uploaded in the Fusion. Yeah. And if you are new to my channel, then please subscribe my channel, and 2 more webinars are remaining. And day after tomorrow webinar, we will have we will review the complete process. So that means those who could not attended today's session or the last previous sessions, everything will be covered in the day after tomorrow session, right? So guys, keep watching my video, and If you are new to this channel, then you can subscribe my channel also. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching the webinar, attending the webinar. Thank you.